as American as apple pie.
Julian, California. In this week's episode, we explore the historic mountain town in San Diego County. We'll be getting into character, taking some old-timey photos, hitting some of the town's favorite spots, sipping their famous apple cider, venturing into a secret retreat in Lake Cuyamaca, and of course, indulging in their world-famous apple pie.
I want to cry. It's so good. Welcome to Julian, California, a historic town known for its charming shops, apple orchards, and rich mining history. Julian is celebrated for its apple orchards, so apple tasting and apple pie is definitely a hallmark of the town. Pie baking in Julian became really popular during the mid-1800s during the gold rush era.
And when the mining industry wasn't supporting the town any longer, instead of becoming a ghost town like many other California gold rush towns, Julian pivoted and saved themselves by way of apples. And they've endured a lot, including one of the largest wildfires in California history in 2003.
This is the Julian Gold Rush Hotel. 1897. It used to be formerly, I believe, Hotel Robinson, placed on the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Department of the Interior. 1897. This is a very historic place.
Today, Julian has managed to maintain that small-town historic charm, with many antique, soap, and gift shops. And if you're really feeling vintage, you can get a unique souvenir you'll treasure forever.
Julian Old Thyme Photo is the last old-time costume photography in San Diego, so we're right on Main Street, and our goal is to make sure that everybody is able to afford to do this with their families.
They're black and white, right? What did they wear, like a burlesque type?
And after finding the perfect outfits, our whole family was ready.
Are you ready?
Are you ready for your close-up?
Working up an appetite, we decided to try the town's cuisine.
We're at the Miner's Diner. It's like the most famous restaurant in Julian. As you can see, it's pretty classic and cool. We're at the Julian Cafe. We wanted to go to the Miner's Diner, and we did, but some of the locals told us the food sucked, and then it's basically like going to McDonald's. I'll let you know how this one is.
The Julian Cafe was opened in 1872. It was a general store for 50 years, and now it's a very famous restaurant.
Chicken and waffles. You don't see anybody here looking like Harry Styles with this great waistline.
Gotta save room for the pie. All of the pie places make their own pie here. So we got the boysenberry with the crumble. We're about to do a really extravagant competition on the best pie in Julian. Things close really early here at 5, so we have to get going.
A town of indulgence.
To prepare to indulge in lots of pie, we started off with a sweet beverage.
Blue Door Winery, this one is a really popular one on TikTok. We have the famous Sangria. Highly recommend.
And it was time to begin our pie tour extravaganza.
This is Apple Alley Bakery, and we've heard from 2 locals now that this is the best place. This is the only pie that you can't get at a grocery store.
This is Julian Pie Company, the most famous pie. Can't come here without really putting it to the test. Doesn't that look incredible?
What is it?
Caramel Apple Dutch.
Yeah, that looks really
Give me a break.
Okay, here are the contestants. I feel uniquely qualified to do this because my character on the show Army Wives on Lifetime, her name was Holly Truman, and she was a professional pie baker.
Do you need any pies? Apple, cherry, blueberry, rhubarb, you name it, I bake it.
Yes, I did learn how to actually bake pies and crimp the crust, so I can tell a really good apple pie. I'm very American in that way.
I don't mean to brag, but I was runner-up at the Effingham County Fair 2 years running.
So I'm excited. This one is from the Julian Cafe, the first bakery there. We didn't do Mom's because we heard that that one from the locals, you can get it in grocery stores. And then this one, of course, is Julian Pie Company. This one is from the Apple Alley. I want to cry. It's so good.
It tastes better than it looks. Tastes like a cinnamon toast crunch, like a cereal, doesn't it? The Julian Pie Company, caramel apple pie. You're not going to be able to beat this. Wow.
We ate the whole rest of the pie. This one from the Apple Alley, which 2 of the locals recommended, it just was not good. I really tried to like it. The quality of the apple was very good, texture and flavor, but the crust was just really dry. I like that it wasn't as sweet, but honestly, it's just not good. And the winner is Julian Pie Company, baking pies in Charleston, South Carolina with people who do this like for a living, not to shade them or anything, but like this is incredible pie. Okay, I'm gonna go in a sugar coma now.
About 10 minutes from downtown Julian, nestled in the mountains, is the hidden serene gem, Lake Cuyamaca, a scenic mountain reservoir that is worth taking the road less traveled to see. We stayed at the Quiet Mind Mountain Retreat, which was a great place to get away from the hustle and bustle. It's a fairly new, spiritual retreat, and it opened during the height of the pandemic, but now it's open for all new guests. There are several lakeside suites, and each one is unique, highlighting all of nature's beauty. The sunset was gorgeous at night, and enjoying it in the hot tub outside was a real treat. Coming from the big city, it's always special when you can actually see the stars at night, and it was a great place to have a special birthday retreat. I'm always on the lookout for special, diamond-in-the-rough places that not that many people know about yet, so this is definitely one we'll be returning to soon. Before heading out of Julian, we had time for one more quintessential stop we couldn't miss: hard apple cider tasting.
Well, we're at the Julian Cider Tasting Company. Julian is famous for two things. The first one, apple pie. The next one, apple cider. Well, I drank them all. It was fun to try all the different flavors, but honestly, it's not my top recommendation.
Okay, so just some final thoughts here in Julian. When I do these trips, I do heavy, intense research on TikTok, on Reddit, on YouTube, on Instagram, because I want to find the best places. I'm a stickler about this sort of thing, so something we didn't have time to do was go to Julian Mining Company and do a tour. If you have kids, you can pan for gold. I mean, this is a very historical mining town. There's a lot of history. There's a cemetery here where all of the miners were buried. I actually also had on my list to do this farm, the U-Pick farm. It's all about burgers and greasy spoon stuff. I imagine whatever like a miner would eat back in the day. So if you're into that healthy eating lifestyle, then head to Del Mar or San Diego because they have a lot of that there. If you've done everything like us and you're looking for something a little bit different, this is a really unique spot. 8 p.m. is like midnight here because everything closes at 4 or 5. So number one thing that I take away from this is plan ahead. Narrow it down to a few things. So if I were you, pie, lake, and get a fun photo to show for it.
Thank you so much for watching, and as always, please remember to like and subscribe for the next adventure.